we'll get right into it. I'm going to bring Harvey Golhers up in a moment. He's the Chief Data Officer and CEO of Group M Analytics, and he'll be presenting. I'm going to do a short presentation first. I think you'll find that this is kind of a now for something completely different. It's totally off the line of other topics that we've done here at ICOM, but it's a very important subject discussing education and hiring talent and retaining talent in today's ecosystem. So I'll get right into it. So that's me. I live in New York. It's halfway between Montreal and New York City in Saratoga Springs. I've been doing a search ever since I got out of the Marines 20 years ago. So I am a consultant and have a good brand. And I play soccer, golf. Find me at Boggs. So why training and education, right? Here's just a great snapshot of a client that had an issue, and I went in and did a paid search audit, and they were wondering what happened, with a specific, their target CPA goal was typically between $12 and $20, and over the course of 22 hours, they were able to get about a little bit over or almost 60 conversions at a much higher than anticipated rate and at a spend of over $7,500. So that's money that'll never come back. You can at least say that they got some conversions out of it, but this happens all the time, right? And especially for some of the companies that are in this room that have these huge budgets that this looks like an accounting error that's pretty much nothing to worry about. Think about adding a 0 or a 2 to that. That's why we need better training and more consistent training in today, because it's still going to be humans. It's not going to always be AI, right? It's not the answer. In fact, Gartner had a great article by Andrew Frank in March of this year talking about, and they had stated that 2017 was the year marketers are expected to overtake IT in technology spending. So automation automatically produces fears of job loss, but in reality, what we can see is that marketers habitually complain of shortage in skills in both data and science, where demand is legendary. And on the creative side, we're scaling up content for personalization lends hope to the non-STEM set. This is kind of exactly what people were talking about on Tuesday, that marriage of data and creativity. And both sides need training, right? So I would argue that maybe those on the data side need to be a little more worried about AI taking some of their jobs, but for the most part, there's just going to be a continued voracious need for marketers. So SEMPO is a patronage organization of ICOM, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I've been on the board for the last 6 years. And I'm a past chairman of SEMPO. We do an annual survey, and we ask marketers what some of their pain points are and whether they prefer paid search over SEO, et cetera, right? So here's one specific question that I pulled out for this presentation, and it has to do with what the greatest challenge is in managing SEO efforts, right? So staying abreast is one of the ones that's highlighted there, but hiring talent is listed as the #1 thing that agencies have a problem with. Now, the interesting stuff that we saw in this year's research is that the agency side was really the one more complaining about not being able to hire talent, where the in-house side, their biggest complaints had to do with actually integrating all their teams to get them to work together. So, makes sense. I mean, I'm sure you all kind of can understand that because it probably happens in some of your days. So, on this next slide, we can see across the board, for each of these 5 sort of channels, the agencies claim that they have harder time than the in-house side of things in terms of hiring talent. So, some training options. Got about a minute left here. Conferences. Online as another option, self-paced. If you do a search at Google for digital marketing training, which I did the other day right here, and you can see that there's an interesting kind of mix of results, and there's 4 ads, right? So that means it's a pretty competitive keyword. And you can see, stuff ranging from the UK. There's actually a couple .coms in here, and then there's even something that's actually specific to Portugal. So there's a lot of digital marketing training out there. It's up to you to make sure that you find the right stuff and that the people that are doing the training have the ability and are current, right? Sometimes trainers have been doing training for 10 years and they got the same deck that they started with 10 years ago. So, these are some of the other options. I'm just going to kind of wrap it up here. Baltimore City College has a customized training program, so they're looking to, there's all kinds of social and search and digital stuff that's coming up and that people are expecting to grow in. I'm going to call Harvey up here while I quickly wrap up. In San Diego, the youthcampaigns.org is offering SMB services, so you can see a lot of stuff going out. So last real quick is right now there's another whole part of it which has to do with talent, and it's hard to bring talent in some cases to North America on the managed services side because of the current administration. So that's an entire other topic, but I spent too long on the earlier slides. I'm going to kick it over to Harvey. Thank you.